Hello again, everybody. We are live just after 4:13 in the afternoon here in Las Vegas, Nevada, round 4. We're going to cover Shuhei Nakamura versus Winston Kwong, and the players are ready to go. If you're just joining us, we saw Winston has mulligan down to 5, so he's got a rough start against the Hall of Famer.
I think going to 8 would still be a rough start against Shuhei Nakamura. We see he's got some pretty fancy-looking dice here lined up as well, awesome. And I'm assuming that these are going to be turned into time counters. Yeah, he's going to be ticking down a bunch of permanents with these things.
Riftwing, Cloudskate, Ephemeron.
Those are pretty sweet. It looks like they're made out of wood. Anyway, let's see what. Hey, I don't think they know they can play. All right, yeah.
So Rashad giving him the go.
Yep.
So that we can get started. Forest is going to be the first thing we see from Shuhei Nakamura.
And is it going to be a Bailoff suspended here as well? Ding. And here we go.
And Shuhei is off to the races. You've got to not be happy if you're Winston to see the sort of inevitability of essentially free things coming in a few turns.
That's right. Now let's see if there's another suspend card here for Shuhei. No, it's a bone splitter. That's fine.
Hey, we see a bone splitter in Winston's hand there. Oh, well, there's the Amru Scout.
I think that's the Armory, the 2/2.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, you're right.
Yeah.
A little glare there.
And it looks like Shuhei instantly cycles the Spellbomb because he's missing a land drop here.
Oh.
All of a sudden, this Jerkwood Bailoff has become a lot more important.
Oh, and there's Bone Splitter, quips up, goes in for 4. Just like that.
Yep, that's all it takes. So Shuhei would love to rip a land here. I saw he has a Pestermite in his hand. He drew a Riftwing Cloudscape, but he can suspend that at least. All right, so this isn't bad. I mean, it's obviously not exactly where he wants to be.
Yeah, he's going to be a little bit on the ropes.
He's going to be on the ropes, but he's going to get the Bailoff.
4 more from Winston. He's 2 turns away from the Bailoff. And Winston's going to lay a little bit more pressure on with Dream Spoiler Witches.
Right, and I saw that Winston also has an Aether Snipe in his hand, and I think a Take Possession as well.
That's Take Possession,
Those are 2 huge tempo plays.
Now, Take Possession costs 7, right?
Costs 7, so that's a much later thing, and Snipe costs 6. But if he can, if he keeps hitting his land drops, things can, and Shuhei misses another land drop here, we see. He's only 1 turn away from the Bailoff and 2 turns away from the Riftwing Cloudscape. But if Winston keeps hitting lands, he can resolve these in a very nice fashion. If he gets to Aether Snipe that Bailoff, that thing's never coming back down.
Oh, you didn't play. All right, he gets in with both. He will drop Shuhei to 6 and say
this
go.
Does nothing, so that's good news for Shuhei, but he needs to find something here.
All right, there's the Bailoff coming on to suspend. There's the 3rd land for Shuhei Nakamura. But he's sitting at 6 life, and
he's certainly not attacking here.
And the Dream Spoiler Witches flies.
Well, unless he has another play. If he wants to go Pestermite, tap your Dream Spoiler Witches, and then try to block the Armory guy, then he can do that. But I think he wants to take that kind of risk on at this stage, and he doesn't. He's just going to pass turn back. Is that a Death Rattle?
Looks like. Here comes Winston. Hang on. I don't necessarily want to attack. I want to attack. Shuhei says, wait. Here comes the Pestermite. Tap your Dream Spoiler Witches. Now, obviously, you don't battle with the Scout now. No 6th land for Winston. He's just going to pass the turn. Here comes the Riftwing Cloudscape. He's going to bounce the Dream Spoiler Witches.
Okay, so that leaves Veteran Armor sitting on the table. And all of a sudden, Shuhei's side looks quite a bit better as Winston needs to hit that next land drop to keep his momentum going.
Is that a red card? Did I see a red card in Shuhei's hand?
I didn't see.
There's another Bone Splitter. So we got double Bone Splitter and double battles.
Get in for 8. And this is going to be a very quick clock if Winston can't find that other land. We saw him in a pretty good position, but he can't cast. He's got all 6 drops in his hand.
How many 6 drops is too many in a sealed deck?
Depends on too many things probably to just say a number, but 4 is definitely pushing it. 3, you're uncomfortable.
Oh, because you don't want to draw. I mean, you don't want them in your opening hand.
No, but like in Shuhei's deck, it's different.
Yeah,
right?
they're not really.
They're not really 6 drops, and he probably has some form of ramp.
So Winston going into the tank a little bit here. Looking really, really good for him a moment ago.
Oh, it's a thieving sprite.
Yep.
And it's going to get rid of,
Jugan.
Jugan, which would normally be really sweet, but Shuhei's so far from playing that, he knows it's not going to be relevant for this particular game. He does equip up the sprites 1/1 with flying, so it can trade off for the Pestermite. It can trade off for either thanks to the Bone Splitter. But Shuhei's going to attack with everybody.
I'm battling. I'm all in here. Okay, so flyer blocks flyer. And then is he going to jump or...
He could take 9 here and go to 3.
And then try to win on the crackback?
I mean, at least try to stabilize with his Aether Snipe if he draws a land. There's no cards in his graveyard, so Death Rattle's not going to do anything until he draws another land either.
All right, so Winston Kwong's decision is here. I mean, he really can't win without having the armor, right? There's no, because even if he Ether Snipes, he's still facing down a big guy.
Yeah, and one of the downsides here is that if he needs to get rid of a flyer, if it happens to be Pestermite, then Shuhei's got the mana up here potentially to just recast it anyway.
Right. So he does jump block.
Let's see if Shuhei has a play here. He needs to get some counters. There we go.
Okay. Plays the Vivid Land.
He just equips. So he doesn't have the mana to recast the Pestermite this way, but he wants to use up his mana. All right, so here comes let's see what Aether Snipe it looks like. Wow, he even hit an island. That was a huge draw for him.
There's that guy. And go.
All right,
so there's the tempo. Both players in single digits. Shuhei at 6, Winston Kwong at 8.
But Winston's in a very precarious spot as he's going to be going down. Oh, and there's Tribal Flames to finish off, and that's the game.
Told you there was a red card in his hand.
You were right.
So, Tribal Flames comes down. Shuhei Nakamura wins a very exciting game 1.
That was actually intense. It was a short game,
right?
But there was a whole heck of a lot going on in those early turns. If Winston had hit that land drop, he'd be in a pretty good position. As it stood, Shuhei was able to get one massive hit in and really just decimate the board of Winston.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting magic happening there. Now, the folks that have talked about this, both sealed deck and draft format, as a relatively slower one.
Mm-hmm. I mean, this format in sealed is powerful, but not swift. There's a couple of aggressive decks, like we saw Rich Hagen's deck, but the reality is most of the decks are not that way. Sure, they still have a game plan. They still know basically it comes down to like what cards they want to resolve. And they're going to have some bombs. Oh, let's take a sneak peek at our other one here.
Ben Stark, one of the best limited players in the history of Magic, and Trevor Petrelli. And we are still in game 1 over here, and we've got a kind of a clogged board. See that Trevor is obviously on red-white giants.
This is a fairly well-developed board here.
Yeah, this is the sort of board state we expect out of Modern Masters sealed deck.
Yeah. And let's see if Ben Stark has an answer to Hillcomber Giant with the. All right, so he's going to splice onto Arcane.
And then I'm going to deal 4 damage.
Yep, there's the Whisper and the. Okay, take out these 2, if you please.
And he's going to kill both of those guys.
Yes. So Trevor untaps. I'll point out here that the life totals are 18 for Trevor Petrelli, 4 for Ben Stark. So Ben in a tight spot here. He's got the Sunburst. He's got the Sunburst creature with 4 counters on it. So
yep, that's Oracle. He can cash that thing in anytime he wants and draw 3 cards. That'd be pretty nice for him right now.
He's got the Latchkey Fairy.
Looks like he's gonna Probably just chump block with that thing in front of the potentially first striking War Spike Changeling, and then he can cash it in for cards.
Well, he's gonna have to. He has to block the giant too. He's definitely got to block the giant, or he's dead.
Yeah. I think he's got a Saltfield Recluse there.
Yep.
Oh, down the bottom. Okay.
Yeah, so he can change the way that things go a little bit.
He had a plan going in.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's going to put his 1 power guy in front of a Flicker Wisp.
That's
Stir the pride.
Oh, man, that's
bad news.
Brutal. So all of his creatures get +2/+2 until end of turn.
Yeah, Ben Stark had a plan going into that with the blocks, and
so before damage,
Petrelli had a plan as well. He's going to sacrifice.
He draws 2 lands and a spell.
See what that spell is in a second, I think.
Oh, it's
kill your giant.
Was it another Hirobi's Whisper? I couldn't quite see it with the glare.
Well, we knew he had that in his hand.
Oh, okay.
From the arcane.
Right.
From the splicing, as it were. So a pretty clogged board gets turned around pretty fast.
There's an Amaru Scout. Committing more to the board here. Oh, right, a Skyreach Manta as a 5/5 with flying. So huge stabilization play here for Ben. Now he's got a potential form of card advantage from that Scout, and he's got a huge 5/5 with flying to get in the way of
reasonably good
Trevor's
chance.
creatures.
Reasonable.
Nope, he just passed the turn right back, so it looks like Ben Stark is stabilized here.
And there's a reasonably good chance that Ben has the pacifism
in his deck.
Absolutely.
There's a very good chance that he has that. He might be lining up an attack here.
And you have accidentally rolled your car into a Honda Accord.
All right, so Ben looking at.
Ben, so it looks like he's considering an attack with both Latchkey Fairy and Manta. Unfortunately, that's not quite a 2-turn clock unless he has something else in his hand. So I think, he's just going to hit in there with the Manta.
Yeah, Manta for 5. And we are back to Shuhei Nakamura and Winston Kwong. Shuhei up game 1, and we see the veteran armor already down for Winston. And it is battling for 2. You love the 2s, don't you?
I love them. Winston Kwong has no turn 3 play, just passes the turn back as Shuhei cycles Traumatic Visions to go get presumably a forest here. Oh, there's that mountain.
He's looking into that. He's looking at the mountain, but yeah, he's gonna. All right.
Riftwing Cloudskate off the top there for Shuhei, but he's just going to start off with the Kitchen Finks here.
Because that's gonna profitably block the veteran armorer.
Yep, all day long.
So Shuhei back up to the 20.
Seedings for the 4 p.m. Standard Seal is up. Seedings for the 4 p.m. Standard Seal.
Is there no turn 4 play for Winston either?
He's got Gleam. He can cycle it and it doesn't do anything.
So at this point, are you just bashing in with Kitchen Finks?
I mean, it depends on what his follow-up play is, but probably. Riftwing Cloudskate.
Cloudskate and Bone Splitter.
Nope.
Oh, suspend the Bailoff.
But if he has a land, he can. No, he's missing his land, it looks like. Yeah, so since he's missing his land drop, he doesn't want to start committing yet. He should have a better, more powerful board later in the game.
Right, there's
so he's just going to set up for that, preserve his life total, and not trade off his
spoiler, which is for Winston, and it comes down. So let's remove these suspend counters.
I had the removal. If I didn't have the Whisper and the Torrent, you would have killed me, obviously.
And there's the 4th land.
Pretty fortunate of me
in the guise of a forest. Now, Kitchen Finks is really, really nice with the suspend deck because you need time, right?
Yeah.
All right. There's the
time on multiple levels.
There's the Bone Splitter that goes onto the Kitchen Finks, which now is attacking for 5. Looks like Winston's just taking it. He will go to 15. All right, so he has played a vivid land. Shuhei lends him a counter. And now he's going in thinking about how he's going to deal with Shuhei's 2 creatures that are coming off of suspends soon. First thing he's going to do is get into the red zone.
And then you just pass the turn
And then
back.
just pass the turn. So
he's got Gleam of Resistance. He can use that with his Dream Spoiler Witches, but see what he wants to do here.
There it is. Shuhei taking a quick read of the card.
That is the 1/4. Right now, 1/4. It's a 5 to 4/1. Oh yeah, I thought.
So it's a 4/1.
She's gonna. Looks like he's gonna throw the RNO.
The Dream Spoiler Witches gets toughness.
You're at 18? Yeah. Oh, David's right.
And Shuhei
No.
finishes it
Yeah.
off to
Like,
kill both creatures
get out.
because the toughness boost goes away on that Dream Spoiler Witches as well.
All right, looks like Winston drew a fairy. Spellstutter Sprite.
Spellstutter Sprite, yeah.
Play
Thieving Sprite.
one card and discard.
And can he get him here? Right now that thing's on the stack.
Yeah, this thing's pretty good.
All right, it resolved, and
Discard for now.
Jugan again hits the bin. And both of these creatures are ticking down. One of them's coming off of spend this turn. And he uses it just to return his Kitchen Finks to his hand to reset that. He doesn't want to return the Thieving Sprite, as that's just going to lose him another card from his hand. So he's going to do it to himself. He could have also returned a land if he wanted, but decided not to.
Well, I mean, the Kitchen Finks is going to gain him some more life.
Yeah.
Cloudskate gets bone splintered up, comes across, drops Winston Kwong to 11. Shuhei replays the Kitchen Finks, and then equips the Kitchen Finks with the Bone Splitter. That card is so good.
It's so good.
He's moving it all around. It's cheap. It's, again, it just seems one of those really unassuming cards that just kills you.
See, there's a Meadow Boon in hand for Winston Kwong. He's deciding if he wants to run that out there. He wants to try to keep up Spellstutter Sprite here as well, because he does have that Thieving Sprite. That's going to mean that any 2-drop that Shuhei casts, he can counter.
All right, Winston Kwong into the tank a little bit here. He is at 11. Shuhei Nakamura is at 20.
All right, here's the Meadow Boon. He just has to pass a turn back. And let's see what Shuhei has planned for his turn here.
Straw is a forest, so he's got plenty of mana to do whatever he wants to do. And what he wants to do is attack. In comes the 5/2 Kitchen Finks and the Cloudscape. Winston says, chump block. Shuhei says, take some damage and we'll have my Finks persist back. Means Shuhei goes up to 22, dropping Winston Kwong down to 9. There's another land.
Wow.
Is that Una?
Yeah.
Queen of the Fae.
That is Una, Queen of the Fae.
So,
Super bomb for Shuhei here.
so especially with 6 land in play,
Yeah.
he's he might not have to cast another spell. I mean, he's going to cast the Bailoff off the suspend, but
I have it with the Flyers.
looking really rough for Winston Kwong here, down a game against Shuhei Nakamura. Oh, and the Ether Snipe comes and puts the Una back in his hand.
Okay, so that's going to buy him a reprieve here, but unfortunately this board is getting away from Winston pretty consistently here as Shuhei has a great play in his hand here of just...
Oh, Cryptic Command.
Oh, wow, he's got Cryptic Command, and that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, tap your team, draw a card.
And there's the handshake. Shuhei Nakamura takes down Winston Kwong 2-0.
So, I'm still live?
We're still live.
No, I'm still live for Shuhei.
Yeah, you're right. You heard it here first. Marshall Sutcliffe picking
down.
Marshall Sutcliffe picking anybody in the field has picked Shuhei Nakamura
to top 8. Yeah, I'm really out on a limb with that one.
Yeah. Like, maybe that PV guy.
Second most GP top 8s ever.
All right, we're back over to the other match. Ben Stark took down game 1 from Trevor Petrelli. We see another board full of creatures. There's the giant up top. There's the Cloud Goat Ranger and the Apocryphite for Petrelli. There's the Latchkey Fairy, the Ralphie Tapper, which is no more.
Lightning Helix takes that down.
How do you like Apocryphite?
I think it's sweet.
You just like the fact it keeps coming back?
Yeah. I just think you can set up board states that are really favorable to you for doing that, and I really like it. You can also do some neat tricks with it. You can otherworldly journey it, and then it comes back with the counters. Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
All right, City Brass for Ben Stark with the excellent new art. Or I should say updated art. It's actually not new.
I mean, that's new.
I think we've seen that someplace.
Oh, you have? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it looks sweet. I mean, the old one still.
Yeah.
You know, come on. Let's be realistic. But still, that is awesome artwork for the new one. All right, in comes the squad here.
Yeah. The thing about the fairies is they fly. You know, you're and there's another Latchkey Fairy.
Wow, he just prowled out another Latchkey Fairy, and wow.
And an Aether Spellbomb. Let's kill your one.
It looks like he's going to think about what he wants to happen here. Can return that to his hand if he wants. He's just going to let it happen.
He's going to let it die, yeah. He definitely wants to keep that Spellbomb man up in case something crazy happens.
Sure. But he's fully in a race mode here.
And
Fairies is deceptively good at doing just this.
Yeah.
I mean, I see that there's an Aether Snipe in hand for Ben Stark. That on its own can change this race right back.
All right. He's in. And says
for 5,
go.
Passes the turn back, so let's see what he's got lined up here. Trevor knows that Ben has something. It's just a Pestermite this time to tap down to 3/3.
Still
but that's a big one here. It's only 2 damage coming in.
Well, again, you're seeing a good old-fashioned race. These guys are obviously really strong players because the speed they're playing at. Don't do this at home, kids.
Yeah, you got to be careful.
But Ben especially, we don't really know Trevor Petrelli all that well. Ben, we know, is one of the top limited players in the world and in history.
And he's going to put his opponent under major pressure, facing down a 1-turn clock here. And wow, a Marsh Flitter, just such a great stabilizing play. He gets 2 1/1 Goblin tokens. He gets a 1/1 Marsh Flitter. It can become a 3/3. And it's just so hard to win from this point because Ben can play around things like exactly what Trevor has. Stir the Pride. You know, he can make sure that he doesn't lose to it. Ben also, I don't know if he has any mountains in hand, but he certainly hasn't played any mountains on the table, so that Hillcomber Giant gets a lot worse when it's just a hill giant.
When it's just a hill giant.
Yeah, no more combing of hills. It's just the hill.
Trevor Petrelli is at 4. Ben Stark at 10. Trevor's getting in. But it's like Ben has already played the game out in his head, and he knows what he's going to do.
He's not going to deal damage, so you're going to
All right, there's the Stir of the Pride. And there's
There
a
it
handshake. So, not quite enough for Trevor Petrelli to overcome Ben Stark, who takes down this match 2-0, and our action from the feature match area